Number 1, mysterious bitcrushed piano. Let's start with this piano loop. It's cool, but I want to add more character to it. So I added an EQ, roll off the high end, just like that. Added a bit crusher on top of it. You can put any amount you like. And then a reverb. This plugin is insane and free. Number 2, distorted reverb drums. So this is my drum loop. I'm gonna add distortion, but not too much. Then reverb before the distortion. You can play with the reverb time. Then EQ to give it a lo-fi vibe. And then delay. Number 3, instant retro sound. Tal Chorus LX is a free chorus plugin that creates instant retro vibes. I like to add it on top of pads and brass sounds. This is without. And this is with. Incredible. Number 4, guitar FXs. Using guitar FXs, pedals, or even amps can unlock a world of possibilities. This is a pretty basic synth riff without Guitar Rig 6. And this is with instant dark synth. Number 5, humanize your sounds. I have this drum sample here. They sound good, but they don't sound human. Let's make them sound bigger by making them uneven. Much better. Number 6, reverse sounds. This is a pretty cool synth riff, but let's make it more interesting. I'm cutting parts of the riff, putting them on a separate track, reverse them, and adjust the levels. This is before, and this is after. Much better. Number 7, reverb sweeps. First, find a short sound with nice attack, like this plug sound, for example. Let's add some reverb and reverse it. Magic, you now have a nice sweep. Number 8, pitch modulations. For this one, I'm going to be using Inner Pitch. Inner Pitch is a fun pitch shifting plugin with a very high quality natural sound. And yes, it is also free. You can pitch shift your sound in real time. It really gives a nice texture. There's also a tonal boost. You can also add a bit crusher like our first trick. It's really cool for cinematic drums. You can also do this on leads, basses, and pads, on pretty much every sound you want. Number 9, creative EQs. Forget the rules, using plugins for other reasons than what they were created for, like EQs as FXs or filters. You can even get crazier by adding distortion or more automations. Number 10, multiple delays. Don't be shy to add multiple delays to create movement. This is without delay. This is with one delay. Then then a ping pong delay, and a third one. Much more interesting sound. 11. Creative automations. This is a synth riff without any automations. Pretty cool riff, but let's make it more interesting. This is the same sound but with 3 automations. A low pass filter automation, a reverb and delay automation, and a panning automation. It really breathes life into your sounds. Number 12, Sidechain Rhythm. This is a pretty basic trance lead without any external effects. Let's now add a sidechain plugin. For this one, I'm going to be using Xfer LFO tool. You can draw any shape you want. You can even play with the rate. You can also automate it. There's no rules. Be creative. 13. Octave doubling. Here's the riff we're gonna work with. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a second track of the same riff and add a pitch shifter. Right now I'm gonna be using inner pitch. Pitch shift down just a bit, and then it creates like a detuned lead sound. And then you can play with the tonal boost. You can also pitch it down further, an octave down. And play with the ferment filter, just to EQ it a bit. And then you can get more creative and add like a bit crusher, for example. Give texture. Play with the mix knob. And then you have a sound that is much more interesting. Let's try it with drums. I'm gonna do the same thing and duplicate the track. Pitch it an octave down. Add an EQ. Cut off the high end. Right about there. And add a bit crusher also. And then you get that lo-fi industrial drums. Really cool. 14. Time stretching. Stretching samples can result in atmospheric and surreal textures. Here's a drum beat. I like it, but let's be creative. So I'm cutting up some parts that I want to time stretch. I'm putting them on a separate track. And I'm slowing them down by half the BPM. Just like that. And also adjusting them to the beat. And this is the result. You can also send both tracks to the same bus and add FXs like distortion, so they blend better together. You can also add a bit crusher because I love bit crushers. Pretty cool. 15. Percussive synth. Layering your synth with a percussive sample can really help to get your sound pop out of the mix. This is the sound we're going to work with. It's a sound from my X-First Serum preset packs. I really like it, but it needs more attack. Let's layer it with a percussive sound, like this one. I took the sample, made it shorter, and then put it under every note, just like that, and then adjusted the levels. Make it high enough so you feel it, but not too loud. You don't want it to be distracting. (16) Unusual plugins. Experimenting with unconventional plugins can spark innovation in your creative process. This is a really cool industrial drum groove. Let's spice it up. This is one of my favorite plugins, Fracture by Glitch Machines. Let's play with the buffer size. Let's change presets. This one's really weird. I like it. Let's change the waveform. You can really be creative with this plugin. Too weird. Demon inside. Number 17, Vocoded synth. This is a pretty basic detuned pad. Let's add a vocoder. I'm using Morphoder. It's an old Cubase plugin. I love the sound of it. I'm using the organic preset. Let's get creative. Let's add a phaser on top of it. Let's play with the rate. Nice, but I like it slower. Let's add some reverb. Now we have something really cool. I love it. 18. Percussive sound. In this example, I'm going to be using this sound. Then use the sampler of your choice. I'm going to be using Cubase sampler. Let's add some FXs like EQs, delay, and reverb. I started with distortion, then added some reverb, and then some delay using the same plugin. (19) OTTs overload. I'm using 5 OTTs. Multiband FXs. Multiband effects allow you to apply different effects to different frequency bands of your audio signals. So I have this sample here. Let's apply multiband effects. I'm going to use Quadrafuzz V2, a Cubase stock plugin. Let's activate the mid-range, tape saturation, some amp effects, give it a lo-fi vibe. Let's activate the high end, some bit crusher. There's not much high end on this sound, so not much difference. Now there's a difference. because there's much more frequencies in the mid-range. Nice. I like it. You can mute it. That's before. And that's after. Very different sound. 21 noise drones. For this trick, I'm going to be using Serum, but you can use any noise signal. So let's pitch it down. Just like that. Then take the LFO, apply it to the pitch to create some movement. Let's add some distortion. Not too much, just a little. When you turn it up, it sounds like a spaceship. And some reverb to create like a big room. Magic, you're now in a sci-fi horror spaceship. 22. Creative layering. Static-centered sounds combined with moving layers can make a big difference. This is a cool sound from one of my preset pack. It's nice, but I want more movement. So I'm gonna add a second layer that is panning from left to right. Then I'm gonna be adding a third layer, which is like a gated pad, using one of my earlier tricks. Now we have something really interesting for the listener. 23. Moving distortion. So I have this really cool riff here. Let's add some distortion on top of it. Let's play with the settings. That's too much. Just like that. Let's add an EQ before the distortion. And listen to that. Hell yeah. That's cool. You can really get nice tones out of it. Let's try with automations. Now that's a sound. I could listen to this all day. 24 Vocoded drums. I have this drum loop here. Let's make it more exciting by adding a vocoder. And let the drum loop trigger the vocoder instead of vocals. You can play with the settings. Here I'm using the saw square option. I'm playing with the notes. Pretty cool. Now with distortion. A little bit more aggressive. And let's add my favorite plugin, Valhalla Supermassive. Now we have a really great sound. 25 Ghost Reverb. Let's add reverb to that drum loop, export it, and bring it back into the project. Let's reverse it. Nice. So let's hear both together. "26 Distorted Filter." So I made this sound with Serum. Pretty basic, nothing interesting. Let's add a filter on top of it. Let's play with the cutoff. Right there should be perfect. Let's add some distortion after the filter. Let's play with a boost. Just like that. Let's add some delay. Play with the mix. Right there. You can also play with the filter after if you want to adjust your sound. That's pretty cool.